accept
you may think it is your job, but it's not.
Do you accept it's an unfulfilled, perhaps a broken promise at this point in time?
I'm not going to answer your stupid, childish questions.
All right, we'll leave it there, Mr. Gorka.
What you're about to see is one of those moments that says it all. Trump loyalist Sebastian Gorka gets asked a simple, straightforward question, and instead of answering, he completely unravels on live television. The brilliance here is in how calm the interviewer stays. No tricks, no theatrics, just persistence. And that persistence forces Gorka into meltdown mode, because when spin is all you've got, even a basic question becomes a trap. Before we dive in, comment where you're watching from and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Now let's roll the clip.
News yesterday, it's not a war that should have started. You don't do that. You don't take on a nation that's 10 times your size, which seems to me to be suggesting that Ukraine should have let itself be invaded and not responded.
No, that's a hackneyed talking point of the gutter press. We don't blame Ukraine for being invaded. That's asinine, that's moronic, that's imbecilic.
What did he mean? You don't take on a nation that's 10 times your size. What does that mean?
The bottom line is the following. When President Trump was the commander-in-chief the first time around, there were no new wars. We didn't have Russia invading anyone. It's interesting that Russia only aggrandized its territory when Obama was in office, when Biden was in office. So what the president is making very clear, which is simply an empirical statement of fact, the world is a safer place when he is behind the resolute desk in the Oval.
The point about you don't take on a nation that's 10 times your size. I mean, Ukraine didn't take on Russia. Russia invaded unprovoked and Ukraine sought to defend itself. So what does he mean by that? You don't take on a nation that's 10 times your size?
We're not casting aspersions and we are not blaming Kiev at all. So the fact is, when President Trump is the commander-in-chief, the world is a safer place. We've seen it's hard to keep up with the president, and he is our boss here in the White House. We've had more than half a dozen peace treaties since he entered office, whether it's in Africa, whether it's Armenia, Azerbaijan. So let's just talk about the facts. When the left is in control,
right,
the world is a powder keg. And I'm not. You can try and interrupt me again and ask me a question for a third time.
I'm just going to bring you back to the first one, if I could.
The bottom line is everybody is safer.
All right, I hear your point on that. I hear your point. It's a slightly separate one I ask you, which was just what President Trump meant when he said in relation to Ukraine, you don't do that. You don't take on a nation that's 10 times your size. What does he think Ukraine should have done differently in this conflict?
I'm not going to talk about hypotheticals because if he had been in the White House... No. If he had been in the White House, if the Democrats hasn't stolen the election the last time around...
That's not what I'm asking about. It's a completely...
You've got to stop now. Ben,
you're answering a question I haven't asked you.
You've interrupted me 6 times.
Because you haven't answered my question.
If you don't like the answer, you can terminate the interview.
It's not an answer.
But if you want to actually let me speak, I will tell you...
What did Donald Trump mean? You don't do that. You don't take on a nation that's 10 times your size.
Ben, it never would have been invaded. Period. End of story.
It's not what I asked, Mr. Gorka.
I don't care what you asked. I'm giving you the truth. I'm giving you, because you're using if you want to ask him what he meant, try and get an interview with him. Can
you help us out with that, Mr. Gorka?
I am happy to, but only if you don't do the classic prevarication and interruption, because we're not interested in fake news, okay?
Let me just
phrase it.
Let me phrase it. It's no fake news here. Let me phrase it a slightly different way.
Then I will end the interview.
Let me just ask you a slightly different way then. Is it the view of the Trump administration?
Do not ask me another way because I simply will not ask.
Is it the view of the Trump administration that Vladimir Putin was wrong to invade Ukraine?
Don't be fake
Mr. Gorka, not fake news. Really simple question.
I'm not going to do this for the 7th time.
Okay, different question then. Was Vladimir Putin wrong to invade Ukraine?
Of course. Absolutely.
But Donald Trump keeps saying, it's NATO, it was... Donald Trump seems to keep suggesting that ultimately it's Ukraine's fault.
Seems to suggest.
He does.
That's just not journalism.
This war was about NATO, he said at the weekend. Was it? I thought it was about Russian imperialism.
You just can't give it up, can you? There is no person in the world, nobody right now, not van der Leyen, no one, not a prime minister, not any other president who can stop the bloodshed. And all you want to do is,
but he
seems to say that.
He hasn't stopped the bloodshed.
Okay.
Ukrainian children are dying. this week.
Okay, so, and you're going to fix it?
I'm not going to fix it. No one's going to listen to me. I'm not the president of I'm not the leader of the free world.
Right. There's one person who's going to stop it. And it's not you, and it's not any other head of state in the world. It's the man who's sitting in the White House. That's it. And if you want to continue to do silly gotcha questions,
not silly gotcha questions at all.
What does he?
Perfectly reasonable question.
Look, of course.
When will it end? When would you expect this war to end, Mr. Gorka? Because
if you listen to what the Premier of Ukraine said less than 24 hours ago, it could end very, very soon. So do you want to cast aspersions against Zelensky now?
Not at all. I just asked because, of course, President Trump said, I will end this war on day one. We're now on day, well, you tell me we're well into 6 months in office.
That's the important thing, isn't it, right? It's for you to score points against the president.
I just ask you when this bloody brutal war will end.
We know what you're doing, Ben. You're trying to score points because you don't like the president.
Just asking you when the war, in your view, as the senior director for counterterrorism.
A crystal ball. Do you have a crystal ball?
I'm not privy to these talks. I'm not the deputy assistant to the president of the United States of America.
Even if you were privy to them, can you predict the future? I've yet to know a human being who can predict the future.
Do you think the war will still, in your view, do you think the war will still be waging at the end of this year?
I pray to the Lord above that it's not, and I think that we have the greatest chance ever right now to stop the bloodshed imminently.
Why do you think President Trump wasn't able to end it on day one, like he promised?
Oh, you're a child. Stop it, Ben.
No, he made that promise to the American people.
Stop it, Ben. You really don't care about the suffering, do you? You just want to score points. What you do. All you can do is bring it back to he said that, he said this. Why don't we talk about the fact that only one person can do what happened in Alaska, only one person can do what happened in the White House on Monday, but no, you want to score points. It's pathetic. Grow up, Ben.
It's my job.
Grow up, Ben.
It's my job to hold people in positions of power, like you and the Trump administration, to account. And to compare what you said to what you've done.
Points.
And I'm not saying President Trump hasn't made progress. I'm simply saying he promised one thing, and right now that promise hasn't been delivered. You can't dispute that.
I'm not here for you to score points against the president.
But you can't dispute the fact that he said more than 60 times, I'll end the war on day one. And we're 6 months in.
If you bring this back one more time, you have demonstrated that you're a child and you're not actually a journalist.
Why can't
do it again.
Answer that? Why can't
do it again.
Answer it?
Because I'm not here to score points against the man 80 million people chose as the commander-in-chief. It's not my job. You may think it is your job, but it's not.
Do you accept it's an unfulfilled, perhaps a broken promise at this point in time?
I'm not going to answer your stupid, childish questions.
All right, we'll leave it there, Mr. Gorka. Really appreciate your time. Sebastian Gorka is the Deputy Assistant to President Trump and Senior Director for Counterterrorism on the National Security Council. President Trump said, for what it's worth, more than 60 times, I will end this war on day one. And then admitted in the Oval Office on Monday that it had been far harder than he thought. Quite why he thought it would be as easy as he made it sound, I don't know. Mr. Gorka won't tell us. But there we go. We do our best. Thank you very much indeed, Sebastian Gorka.
That closing line, I'm not going to answer your stupid childish questions, wasn't strength, it was surrender. That's the sound of a political operative running out of plays live on air. And it's a familiar pattern we've seen from Trump's inner circle and their allies abroad. When pressed with real questions, they don't engage, they deflect. Because for them, this isn't about serious politics. It's about performance, it's about sound bites, television clips, and keeping the propaganda machine rolling. What made this interview so powerful is how quickly the mask slipped. The host, Ben, pinned Gorka down with nothing more than Trump's own words. That's all it took. From there, we watched the entire defense mechanism collapse. First, he tried pivoting. Didn't work. Then he attacked the media, failed again. Next, he played the victim, still fell flat. And finally, the truth came out in that one line, I don't care what you asked. That's not an answer. That's an admission. It showed that he wasn't there for accountability or truth or debate. He was there to broadcast a pre-packaged message, and reality was just a nuisance in the way. And this is the weakness of that style of politics. It cannot survive simple, persistent, fact-based questioning. That's why figures like this so often duck tough interviews. Because when the spin unravels, there's nothing left. So what do you think? Was this one of the most satisfying journalistic takedowns you've seen? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like and subscribe for more. Until next time, this has been The Whip Line. Thanks for tuning in.